These Radeon 7s are the bane of my existence. I've had nothing but issues with these GPUs, just today actually, because I had these GPUs off on the floor. That rig was sitting on the floor over there for maybe like the past 2 weeks, and I just could not get this to run over there to mine. So I plugged in the power, plugged in the network, and that's what I normally do. I turn it on and it would not boot. I couldn't see it in HiveOS or anything, it wouldn't mine. I was scratching my head like, what's going on? When I moved my mining shelves, you guys know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I simply just put the Radeon 7 rig on the floor there, and then I simply just plugged in the power cables there and the network cable, and I tried to get it running, but it ultimately wouldn't work. So I brought it on my desk over here, and I was just like, what the heck? And so I plugged in the monitor and nothing would come up on the screen. Nothing. First thing that I did was I just unseated the PCIe 1 adapters, and then I had the monitor plugged in and network, and that's it. And then I turned on the motherboard and it booted, but then the BIOS had an error on the screen saying it reset or something. It had to reset back to default. And so I said, okay, I went into the BIOS, I changed the iGPU back onto the CPU. It was on the PCIe slot number 2 or something for the display out. And so, okay, that's simple. I did that. Enabled 4G decoding, enabled Gen 1 on all the slots, all the regular stuff, right? On an ASRock H110 Pro BTC Plus motherboard. And it still wouldn't work. It would actually go into HiveOS for a little bit, but then it would restart constantly. I had no idea why. Next step that I did, I changed out all the risers that I had, and I had all of these GP risers, .com risers, a little bit older ones, maybe like 4 or 5 months, but ultimately they were fine. The risers were not the issue, because when I put in these new Nerd Gear risers, which are pretty slick, by the way. They have this like RGB like moving light here. It's pretty cool, like it's like a party going on my mining rig here. But anyways, changing out the risers didn't do anything, and so it would just keep constantly restarting once it was booting into HiveOS, and it would just restart like crazy. So next thing I did, shut it down, and I took out the SSD, the original SSD that I had on the rig. And so I was like, what the heck is going on? And so I plugged it into the computer, and lo and behold, it was giving me some like weird errors in Windows. So I think this Kingston SSD that I had in this Radeon 7 rig was just borked or something. I have no idea what happened to it, but definitely this is a little bit older generation Kingston SSD. And so I put in a newer Kingston SSD and I burned HiveOS onto it, brand new, and it went into HiveOS and mined no problem. So to conclude my issues that I was having with this rig, it wasn't the GPUs, it wasn't the risers, it wasn't the motherboard per se. Well, I guess it did go back to default in the BIOS, and so I had to reset all the settings, but that wasn't it, right? It wasn't it. It was just restarting constantly every time it was booting into HiveOS. It wouldn't get in all the way, and then it would restart again. So it was the Kingston SSD, it was the SSD. This is the first issue that I've ever had with an SSD not working because of the HiveOS rebooting issue. And so it looks like we got a bad SSD. That is the first time I have ever had a bad SSD. Don't get me wrong, this is an SSD that I used previous years in other computers, and this Radeon 7 rig is definitely, I would say, about 1.5 years old now. And so I guess using this SSD for that long, I don't know, and previous years, it decided to die on me. It decided to die or corrupt or just stop working. Anyways, I just wanted to just explain to you guys the issues that I was having with this rig and what I was doing to troubleshoot it. I was like, oh man, I hope I don't have any more code 43s or anything like that, because you guys know when I built this rig, like one of those 2400 watt Delta server power supplies, it bricked 4 of my Radeon 7s. I'm not going to say it was the power supply, but I'm going to say it's because the Radeon 7s are just the most sensitive cards in the world. There are plenty of reports online of Radeon 7s dying, code 43, all that stuff. Luckily, I was able to RMA all 4 Radeon 7s. That was really great. And a little tip for some of you guys that are gonna RMA GPUs in case they die, don't say you were mining on them. That's, yeah, they'll definitely will not give you a new GPU for replacement on that. Alright guys, not the end of the video. I want to bring this rig to the barn. I was going to change all the GPUs into a 12 GPU mining frame, but I decided I am not going to do that because I just don't want to have any code 43 Radeon 7s. And so let's turn it off. I'm going to let it stop the miner. I'm going to let it cool down for 5 minutes. Just let it settle, let the temperatures come down before I fully turn it off. And then I'm gonna let it sit for another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna walk this to the barn, and then we're gonna see if it works. So I'll see you guys in the barn. Let's go. Okay, I'm in the barn. Let's turn this thing on. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to show you guys the existing power consumption that we got here. And so we're gonna see how much this Radeon 7 rig is gonna take. So on this 30 amp 240 volt bank right here, is where we should see it go a lot higher than 3260 watts. Okay, so that's the benchmark first, and then we'll see what the delta is once we turn this on. So let me turn it on, and we have to hit the power button on the ASRock motherboard. There we go. Oh man, looks so good. I love the Radeon 7s. Bane of my existence. My most favorite GPU has given me the most hardest time. I think that's why I love them. I have a love-hate relationship with these Radeon 7s, but they look awesome. Okay, while that's booting up, I actually wanted to show you guys real quick here. In the barn, I am over the 5 gigabyte data plan that I have here, so every gigabyte that I go past, it's gonna cost me another $10. Which really sucks. I really need to change this out. I have been researching the Ubiquiti P2P system, or potentially running my own line all the way from here all the way to the basement network there. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm going to see which one I will do, but I will update you guys on that real soon. Okay, let me just check if this thing is mining. Be right back. Okay, so now we're taking about 4,690 watts at the wall with the Radeon 7s. Now I'll show you guys the hash rate that I'm able to get here, about 85 to 86 mega hash on my Radeon 7s using the latest version of Team RedMiner. And these are my overclock settings. 1600 core, and then I got 910 on the voltage for the core, and then about 1000 on the memory, which I believe is stock. And so I know that I can get 100 mega hash on these Radeon 7s. I've done it before, but because I updated to the latest version, the custom AMD memtweak that I put in is now gone. It's reset because, like I said, I updated the rig. So I'm gonna have to do that all over again. I have a video somewhere on my channel where I did get this rig to do 600 mega hash. And so I believe this whole rig right now is taking about 14 to 1500 watts at the wall. If you guys want to see me do another video of 100 mega hash on each of these Radeon 7s, let me know down below. Maybe I can do a live stream and we can edit the AMD memtweaks live or something. Anyways guys, that's all I wanted to do in this video, and I guess, yeah, the Radeon 7 rig lives. I love these cards and also hate these cards, but let me know what you guys think of these Radeon 7s specifically, and if any of you guys have Radeon 7s, let me know your story down below. I know a lot of people have very similar situation that I've been through with these cards, especially throughout our crypto mining journey. Definitely a lot of fun. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good one, and peace out.